Kakalosh Boker Tov, we're going to continue on the Mishnah. Today's daf is daf Samech Vav 66. We're going to start from the Mishnah on Samech Yamud Bet, just last line. Okay? It says over here like this in the Mishnah. Hakitea, which is regel. That means their leg is cut off. Yotzeh bekav shelo, he's allowed to go out with his kav, which, let's see if he has a picture here. Here. This is a bet kav shelo. Okay? So the kitea, he's able to go out with this on Shabbat. Okay, it's like a fake leg. Okay, it accepts the leg. Okay? So what happens is these are the words of Rabbi Meir, and we're not going to suspect. Basically, it's considered like a allen, not like it's like a shoe. It's not considered like carrying. Okay? But Rabbi Yosef says it's going to be asur. Why? He says that according to him, it's not considered a shoe and it's not considered a tachshit either. It's not considered an adornment. If it has a bet kibul, which means you're able to put your foot in it and it has a ketitin, which means that you could put begadim rakim, right, there. So then it's going to be tameh, which means it's fitting for mekabel tumah. This is the bet kibul, and this is the ketitin over here, which means that inside you could put like clothing or whatever in order that he could put the rest of his foot down inside of there. Okay? Now it says, Asamuchot shelo. So this is the Mishanot Or, which is basically it's like parts of, let's see if he says it here. Here it is, Samuchot. Samuchot shel Or, they're like here, in this picture over here. He basically walks on his knees. So since his feet is cut off, so he's using this like type of a protective thing. This is called the Samuchot, which is basically made out of or, right? It's made of leather, okay? So that is going to be mitameh midras, which means that if he's a tzav, it becomes mitameh midras, which, again, like lying down or sitting down on it. Yotzim b'hem Shabbat, he is allowed though to go out with it on Shabbat, as it's considered a tachshit. V'nichnasim b'hen ba'azara, and you're allowed to go with them to the azara of the Bet HaMikdash. Why? Because since he doesn't put it on the feet, mamash, he doesn't put it on the bottom of the feet, so it's not considered a shoe. Remember, in the Bet HaMikdash, you're not allowed to go with shoes. So since here, he's not putting it on the bottom of his feet, he's only putting it on the side. Again, remember, this is the picture. He's not putting it on the bottom of his feet. He's putting the leather here, and he's walking on his knees because he's missing a foot. So therefore, that's not considered a shoe, and therefore he's allowed to go like that in the Bet HaMikdash as well. That's the pshat of Nichnasim B'hen Ba'azara. He's allowed to go into the Azara, the Bet HaMikdash, with this type of support on his knees, on his, like when he's coming inside. Kiseh. Okay? So now when we're talking about that he's going to a kiseh, he's going to this is the olden days wheelchair, but look how it looks here. This was the kiseh of the once upon a time. Okay? Yeah, everyone sees he has to put, there weren't wheels, so he used to actually use this. Okay? And then this was the chair he was strapped to, and this was the fake feet. Okay? So this kiseh that he has, the samochot shelo, they're going to be tamim midras, which means that if it's going to be any type of a tum'ah, whether he's, for example, a zav, so then what happens is that it's going to be tameh midras, which is basically either lying down on it or sitting down on it. But this, since he does put it mamash on his feet, so then it's considered shoes, and he's not allowed to go with this into the azara of the Bet HaMikdash, because again, you're not allowed to wear shoes over there. Okay? Next, look itmin. Interesting. So we're wearing this every single day now. lo kitmin are masechot. But here it says that they put them on in order to scare the children. So they're masks in order to scare the children, or even our masks, even though our masks, we're going to speak about it. But it says, lo kitmin, which are basically the masks, tehorim. They are tehorim, which means they are not fitting to be mikabel tumah because they're not a tachshit and they're not a kli tashmish either. They're nothing. Ve'en yotzim bahem, but you're not allowed to go with it in Shabbat. Because again, if it's not considered a malbush, it's not considered a clothing, and it's not considered a tachshit, so then what happens is, then it's carrying on Shabbat. So that's why it's going to be a problem. Okay? Then we finish the Mishnah. So says the Gemara, Samech Vav Amud Aleph, Gemara. Amale Rav Nachman, says Rav Nachman, Hichitznan, right? How do we learn in our Mishnah? Do we just say that a kitea, that somebody that's missing a leg, he's allowed to go out with his kav according to Rabbi Meir, and Rabbi Yosef says that it's a sur, okay? So he says, or do we say that the opposite? Ena kitea yotze bekav shelo, these are the words of Rabbi Meir, and Rabbi Yosef was matir, which means, who said what? The version that we have of the Mishnah is that Rabbi Meir permitted it. Hakitea yotze bekav shelo. These are the words of Rabbi Meir. 1 second later, we said Rabbi Yosef oser. Did we learn it that way, or do we learn it the other way around? That really meant Rabbi Meir was oser and Rabbi Yosef was matir. So Amalei, he comes and he tells him, Rav Nachman tells Rava, lo yadana. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one said which. Meaning, now that you're asking the question, I don't know. Okay, hilchatamai. So what is halacha? Is this kitea allowed to go out with this kav on his foot or not? Remember, the kav was this, okay? Which is basically like a bet kibul. So his foot, which is cut off, it goes into a support. And this is the shoe, right? So his leg just goes in and then he's able to walk like that, okay? So what's the halacha? Is he allowed to go with that out on Shabbat or not? Amaleh lo yadana. I don't know. Another one. So Itmar, it was stated, Amar Shmuel says, Ena kitea, which means that you cannot go out. Echen Amar Ravuna, Ena kitea. These are the words of Rabbi Meir, which means that it was the exact opposite of what's written in our Mishnah. Our Mishnah was written, Hakitea yotze bekav shelo divrei Rabbi Meir, and Rabbi Yosef Oser. Comes Shmuel and also Ravuna, and they learned the opposite way in the Mishnah. They learned Ena kitea yotze bekav shelo divrei Rabbi Meir, and Rabbi Yosef was matir. So according to this, it comes out that according to Rabbi Meir, it's a sur, and according to Rabbi Yosef, it's mutar. So Amar Rav Yosef, says Rav Yosef, Hoil ve'amar Shmuel ena kitea ve'amar Rav Huna ena kitea. Since Shmuel and Rav Huna both taught ena kitea, which means they both taught the same thing, so therefore, ana nami nitne ena kitea. We are also going to learn the same thing, that it's ena kitea, which means the fact that Shmuel and Rav Huna both learned the same, right, the exact same thing. So therefore, that's how we're going to learn as well, right? Which means that also it's ena kitea. These are the words of Rabbi Meir, which means Rabbi Meir says that a person cannot go out with this type of a shoe, and Rabbi Yosef was mati. So matkif la Rava bar Shira, right? So Rava bar Shira comes and he asks the following question: Lo shmiali, right? Lo shmiali hu hadematni le Rav Chanan bar Rava lechia bar Rav kameh de Rav. He says, I don't understand you. What? Rav Yosef and his students didn't hear the story that happened, that Rav Chanan bar Rava taught from the Mishnah to Chia bar Rav in front of Rav, Bekitona de Rav, in a small room in the Bet HaMidrash of Rav. And he said, Ena kitea yotze bekav shelo divrei Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yosef matir, umachvi le'epuch, which means that even though it was exactly like Shemuel and Rav Huna taught, which basically they taught there in the Bet HaMidrash, that ena kitea yotze, which means that a person could not go out with this type of a shoe, right? And Rabbi Yosef was matir, and all of a sudden Rav went and he hinted to Rav Chanan bar Rava, epuch, you have to turn it around, which means you have to change the data Tanaim, and you have to teach hakitea yotze bekav shelo divrei Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yosef oser, that he prohibits it. So you see from here Rav argues on Girsat of Amoraim that we just brought down now. So why did Rav Yosef then, why was he mekabel the Girsa of Shemuel and not the Girsa of Rav? Rav was exactly like our Mishnah. The proof that his students came and they said, right? They came and they said like Shemuel and Ravuna, Ena kitea yotzeh b'shura, and then they said Rabbi Yosef was matir. And then he told them, Nafochu. He told them to switch it. So he comes and he says, Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, says Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, right? V'simana, so the siman to remember the girsat of Rav is Samech Samech. Rabbi Yosef Oser, Samech Samech. Yosef, Samech, in Yosef, Oser, Samech. That's how you remember it. Okay? Ve'af Shmuel Hadarbe. Says the Gemara, you should know another thing. Even Shmuel himself retracted. He said, why? The Tanam, as we learned in the Mishnah in Yevamot, Chalza besandal she'ena shelo. Imagine right now, the Yevamah, she did chalitza, right, on a sandal, which was not his, meaning that it didn't belong to the Yavam. Or besandal sheletz, or the Yevamah, right? Or now she's actually considered a chalutza, right? But remember, chalutza means that the husband passed away without any children. So now she falls in front of the brother, and she either has to do yibum, which means she marries the brother, or she does chalitza, which means it's a type of like a divorce from the brother. And the way the chalitza is done is she takes off the left shoe, the left boot, right? It's a special boot. And then she spits and she says he didn't want to construct or build the house of his brother, and so on and so forth. So here it says in Halachot, if she did chalitza with a sandal that does not belong to the brother, or with the sandal shel etz, or shel small biyamin, which means she did the regel small, right, instead of the yamin. Chalitza kshera, it's going to be kosher. So in all these cases, it's going to be kosher. Right? It has to be the right foot, says the Gemara in Yevamot over there. It's regel. It's Gzera Shava from Mitzorah. So it's going to be the right foot. So she did the left instead of the right. So in all these cases, it's still going to be kosher. Ve'amrinan, so he said in the Mishnah over there, Mantana, who's the one that says that if she took off the sandal shel etz, it's considered a min'al and it's going to be kosher for chalitza? Amar Shmuel says, it's a bimir. Why? The Tanam, we learned to the Mishnah, Hakitea yotze bekav shelo, the Hakitea goes out with his kav, Tivre bimir, Rabbi Yosef oser, and Rabbi Yosef prohibits. So you see from here that it's coming out from this Gemara that even Shemuel retracted, and he held like Rav, that in our Mishnah, it was Rabbi Meir that was permitting. Okay, it was Rabbi Meir that was permitting, and it was Rabbi Yosef that was Oser. So it comes out, right, that's what's coming out from all this story is that really Be'emet, Shemuel even himself retracted, and he's holding the Rav. Then it says the Gemara, Ve'af Rav Huna hadarbe. So now everybody came off the map now. Because now you have everybody. You have even Rav Huna retracted. It says, why did Rav Huna retract? The time was learned in a Braita. Sandal shel sayadin. A sandal of kash, of straw. Okay, so you have a sandal made out of straw. Shnoalim mochre sid. B'shar she'mitaskim b'sid. Kedei shlo yisrof hasid et na'alei or shelaim. Basically, they put it on in order that it doesn't burn their shoes. Because if they they're dealing with lime, and if they're going to start putting, leather shoes, it's going to burn their shoes. It's going to burn it. So what do they put? They put a straw. Tameh midras, it's going to be tameh midras, again, if they're a zav. So it's going to be tameh midras. Right? V'isha choletzet bo, a woman can do chalitza with it. V'yotzim bo b'shabbat. Right? And she's allowed to go out with it in Shabbat. These words are Rabbi Kiva. Ve'lo hodulo, but they didn't agree with him, which means the rabbis did not agree with Rabbi Kiva. Right? But Rabbi Kiva said you're allowed to go out with it, and the rabbis didn't agree. So as the Gemara, we learned in the Mishnah Neduyot hodulo, the Chachamim did agree with Rabbi Akiva. So Amar Ravuna says, no, man hodulo. Who was the one that agreed with Rabbi Akiva? Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir was the one that agreed with Rabbi Akiva. Why? Because he permitted for the kitea to go out with a kav shel etz. Because according to him, it's considered a minal, it's considered a shoe. So it comes out that the Rabbi Meir was the one that agreed to Rabbi Akiva. Uman lo hudulo, who didn't agree with Rabbi Akiva? Rabbi Yosef. So it comes out that even Rav Huna retracted, and he also held that in our Mishnah, Rabbi Meir was matir, and Rabbi Yosef was osir. Because he says that Rabbi Meir was modet to Rabbi Akiva that he could go out with this on Shabbat, and Rabbi Yosef was the Chachamim that didn't agree with Rabbi Akiva. He argued, and he said that they can't go out with it on Shabbat. Okay? So now that we just proved that Rav Huna also agreed, right, with Shemuel and also agreed with Rav, and then it comes out that everybody is saying that Rabbi Meir was the one that permitted and Rabbi Yosef was the one that said. Says the Gemara, and it says like this: Rabbi Yosef Aman, Man lo hodulo. Who were the ones that did not agree with Rabbi Akiva? We said it was Rabbi Yosef. Says the Gemara, it was Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. It's Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. It's name as we learned on Mishnah and Kelim, Machzelet akash u'shvoferet akash. We're talking about a machzelet, which is like a small type of a carpet made out of straw. Okay? So it says machzelet v'sal, or a basket, which are made b'tzurat shvoferet. So it's made like a shvoferet, like pipe, or I don't know how you want to call it in English exactly. Okay? So it says, Rabbi Akiva metameh. Rabbi Akiva comes and he says that it's going to be mekabel tum'ah, just like klietz. Any type of klietz utensil, not pshute klietz. Remember, pshute klietz is any flat utensil that does not have a receptacle. If it's made out of wood, it's pshute klietz, is not mekabel tum'ah. But here, it does accept. So therefore, it's klietz, it's going to be mekabel tum'ah. Okay? Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, mitaher. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri says, it's mitaher. Why? According to him, kli kash is not considered kli etz, which means straw is not like wood, and therefore it's not mekabel tumah. So according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, so to a sandal of sayadim, that means this sandal, which is made for the people that are working with lime, which is made out of kash, is not mekabel tumah. So he's the one that argues on Rabbi Akiva. So the Gemara is going to ask on Rabbi Akiva. Amar Mor says, Sandal shel Sayadim tameh midras? Rabbi Akiva, do you really hold that a Sandal shel Sayadim, the sandal made out of straw for the people that are working with lime, is be'emet tameh midras? Halav li lu chavdi. It's not made to walk. He says it's just there in order to protect their shoes, right, in order that they don't get burnt from the lime. So why is it mitameh midras? Mitameh midras is if you actually use it to walk, but it's not shoes. It's like protective gears. Let's see here if we have any pictures. Not really. Okay. So he comes and he says, like this, he says, Amar Rav Acha, right, bar Ravula, says Rav Acha bar Ravula, sheken ha-sayadu metayel bo ad shemageh lebeto. He says, no. He says, you know why it is mekabel midras? Because sometimes this person, even when he finishes his work, he'll walk with it, and he'll continue going to his house with these shoes. So the fact that he'll still take it to his house with his shoes after work, it is considered a shoe. And therefore it is going to be mekabel tumah. Okay? And that's how we finish until the two dots. So basically like this, it comes out just very, very simple, right? Just to do a very short chazara. It came out that our Mishnah, we were trying to analyze the part of the Mishnah. The Mishnah said that the kitea, a person that doesn't have a leg, right, his foot is cut off. So he's allowed to go out with this shoe, right? That was Shitat Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yosef was Oser. In the Gemara, we started analyzing who said what. Was Rabbi Meir matir and Rabbi Yosef was Oser, or the opposite way around? The first one, which was, I think Rav Nachman said, Lo Yadana, I don't know. Then they asked, what is halacha? Again, he said, Lo Yadana, we don't know. Shmuel and Rav Huna flipped our Mishnah, which means according to Shmuel and Rav Huna, both of them said that Rabbi Meir was Oser and Rabbi Yosef was matir. So says Rav Yosef, I agree with them. Right? I agree, but that was their girsa, I agree with them. We asked, why do we agree with them? What about Rav? Rav had the girsa, the opposite, but his students came, and his students said like Shmuel and Rav Huna, and he told them, flip it. You have it wrong way around. So it says the Gemara, not only that, even Shmuel retracted from it. Shmuel brought from the Mishnah to do the Chalitza, that he also switched it. Rabbi Meir was Matir, and Rabbi Yosef was Oseh. And we actually brought a hint to remind ourselves of that. It was Yosef Samech, Oser Samech, Samech, right? So then we said, and even Rav Huna retracted, because we brought a proof from there as well, that to do with Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva says you're allowed to go out with it on Shabbat, and it's Mekabel Tumah. And then we said Rabbi Meir, right, was the one that agreed with Rabbi Akiva that you're allowed to go out with it on Shabbat. Rabbi Yosef was Oseh. So he comes out that everyone agrees with Rav, that our Mishnah is exactly the way that it's written. And then we brought down that Rabbi Yosef comes and he says Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri also was the one that did not agree with Rabbi Akiva, but he said it's not considered a shoe at all. It's not considered a utensil, so it's not Mekabel Tumah. So then we asked, how could it be Mekabel Tumah? It's not a shoe, you never use it. So we answered yes, because sometimes since you put it on and you walk to your house with it, it's considered a shoe, and therefore you do use it, and therefore it's going to become Mekabel Tumah, but it's a utensil. Okay, so that's until the 2 dots. Next, the next 2 dots. Im yesh lo bet kibul ketitin tameh. So we said that if this shoe has a bet kibul, which you could basically put clothing inside of it, and then he puts his foot, like the rest of his leg, on top of this clothing, so then it's going to be tameh, which means it's fitting to be mekabel tumah. So Amar Abaye says, akav sheyesh lo bet kibul ketitin is tameh tumat met, ve'en tameh tumah midras. It becomes susceptible for tumat met, but not for tumat midras. Right? Why? He says because usually you don't put your support on it. It's only once in a while. So the ikar of the semicha, right, is only just not to use it as a support. It's just to take away from the blemish, which means like this. When he's coming and he's walking, right, on this kav. Now remember, this is the kav. When he's walking here, he's walking with a stick. Why is he walking with a stick? Because he's hardly putting support on the foot, on this shoe. He's only once in a while he puts the support on the shoe. He's only has the shoe there to cover up his mum, to cover up his blemish. He doesn't want everyone to see that he has the entire foot missing. So therefore he makes this shoe and he puts it on and it's covering his blemish. But it's not used as a support. So since it's not used as a support, he says it's only going to be mekabel tumat met, but not tumat midras. For tumat midras, you have to sit down on it, lie down on it. Here he's not using it like that. So if it's not mekabel tumat midras, it's only going to be mekabel tumat met. Rava comes and he says, af tameh midras. It is going to be tameh midras. Why? But since once in a while he does use it as a support, which means even though he has his cane, or nowadays we have crutches, but I'm saying he would use a stick to support himself with his other leg. But once in a while, he would also use it for support. It's going to be Mekabel Tumat Midras. So Amar Rava comes and he says, he's going to bring a proof to his Ashita. How do we know this? He says, as we learned on the Mishnah Beitzak of Gimel Bet, Agala shel Katan, Tameh Midras. When you have this Agala, right, for a child, right, and which is basically a stroller. This was Agala shel Katan. Right, the regular stroller, Agala shel Katan, okay? That they come and he sits on it, and they go walking with him. It's Tameh Midras, which means if the Katan is a Zav, so it's also going to be Tameh Tumat Midras. Why? Because sometimes he sits on it, right? Which means that the Agala is Mekabel Tumat Midras, even though the Ikar is not made on it for Smicha, right? Which means to support him, but since sometimes they do support him, he does support himself with it, it's going to be Mekabel Tumat Midras. So it says over here, this Ikar Shimushav, this Agala, is Lemischak, right? It's actually for like a toy. But once in a while, they also put a child in it, which means this little tiny Agala, sometimes you buy for your children, right? These little tiny strollers. The stroller is not for the child. It's for the dolls. You understand? But sometimes the children come and they sit in it. So that's this. Which means this case where the child is going to sometimes sit in this agala, even though it's not made to sit in it. It's made as a mischak, as a toy. And he's running around with dolls in it. But the fact that sometimes he will use it like that, he says that it's going to be mekabel tumat midras. Okay? So Abaye says, no, you can compare the two cases. He says, why? Hatam samichi laveh. There, the katan is coming and he's supporting himself on this. And therefore, it's mekabel tuma midras. Hacha, no samichi laveh. Here, it's not, it's only litim rechokot. It's very, very far off, which means here, right, the child many times will come and sit down inside of this agala. But in the case of the foot, you're not going to come and support yourself on that. If you do, it's once in a blue moon. So he's making a difference between itim kerovot, which means something which is much more common, and something which is much less common. So Abaye argues on Rava and says to Rava, you're coming and trying to bring me a proof from the Agala Shel Tinok that it's going to be Mikabel Tuma Midras. Why? Because sometimes the Tinok sits down inside of it. So if this Tinok was Tameh, like a Zav, it's going to be Mitameh Tuma Midras. Says you can't compare both cases. There it happens frequently. Here it doesn't happen frequently that he's putting support on his leg. So Abaye comes and he says, Menam minala, right? Where do I say that this kli is done for smicha, that even it's not going to be mekabel tuma midras? He says the Tanya, as we learned in a Braita. He says, makel shel zekenim tahor miklum. When you have a makel shel zekenim, which obviously we're talking about one of these like staffs used by a zaken, by an elderly person, it's tahor from everything, which means it's not mekabel tumah, right? And that includes tumat midras. So you see from here, even though the zaken comes and he does put a support on his staff, right, on his, on his baston, on his makel, still it's not mekabel tumat midras. So Rava is going to now try to disprove this in order to say that it's okay. But Rava hatam over there, samech vav mubet. He says it's done just to make sure that he's going straight, right? And therefore, it's never for support. It's just making sure that he's going straight. But over here, you're doing it for support. And you are supporting your legs with it. So therefore, comes Rava and he says, don't bring me a proof from the staff of a zaken, of an elderly person, because the staff of a zaken is only there just to make sure that he's going straight. Okay, so therefore you can't compare it to what we just mentioned right now. Okay, next, the Mishnah continues. This is again another two dots. We said Yotzim Shabbat Tamim Midras. We said the kiseh. We're talking about now the wheelchair, but again, it wasn't really a wheelchair. Right? There were no wheels there. It was like the support in the back, the chair, and then the two on the front. Right? So it says over here, Tamim Midras, and you're not allowed to go with it on Shabbat, and you're not allowed to go into the Hazara with it. Remember, because it's considered a shoe. So if it's considered a shoe, you're not allowed to go into the Bet HaMikdash with it. So Tani Tanakh Rabbi Yochanan, they taught in front of Rabbi Yochanan, Nichnasim Ba'el Hazara, that you are allowed to go in with it to the Hazara, because it's not considered a shoe. So since it's not considered a shoe, you are allowed to go with it into the Hazara on Shabbat. So Amalei, so Rabbi Yochanan comes and he says to this Tana, that's saying over these Mishnayot, Ani Shoneh, I teach another Braita, Isha choletzet, that she is allowed to do chalitza with it, because it's considered a shoe. And you said you could go into the Hazara, which means if I hold that she could do chalitza with it, it means it's a shoe. So if it's a shoe, how could she go into the Hazara with a shoe? You're not allowed to go into the Hazara with shoes. So Tani, en nichnasim ben Hazara. So therefore you have to teach it the other way around. You're not allowed to go into the Hazara with them. Okay? And that's the maskana also. Next, lokitmin teorin. We're talking about again the face masks, right? For the like for the children. So it says my lokitmin. Amar Avivu says Avivu chamra de akfa. It's like a kamin chamor hanisa b'ktafayin al-litzanot. It's this. I'm sure you've seen it even until today. Right? It's like a chamor that you put on top of your shoulders, like a shoulder strap, and you're running around with it. Okay. So he says that's what it is. Rav Papa Amar Kishire, your Kabayim Givuim, which also I'm sure you've seen in Disney and other places as well, is this one, where they walk on top of like thin things, right? Like supports. Okay? And Rava Baravuna Amar Prame. What are Prame? It says here it's U632. Prame is this, is the Masechot. So you have three different shitot. Okay, what exactly is lukmitin that we said they're going to be teorim, which means it's not going to be mekabel tumah, but it's also not going to be, you're not allowed to go out with it on Shabbat. Whether it is, the first one was the horse or the donkey on your shoulders. The second one, the tall people that they're walking on top of these long additions to their feet. Or the third one was the masks. Okay? Next, Mishnah Samachvav Amud Bet. הבנים יוצאים בקשרים ובני מלכים וזוגין, בכל אדם, אלא שדיברו חכמים בהווה. Says the Mishnah like this, the boys, they're allowed to go out with ksharim. So here, it's going to explain to us. These are the ksharim. Right here. You see over here? That's the ksharim. Okay? It says over here, kishrei puat tlata mukme. It's like a three type of knots. Okay? Uvnei melachim, so bnei melachim bezugim. They're allowed to go out with pa'amonim, for noi, right? The bells. So here also, these are bnei melachim, like the princes. This is the bell, right here. This is the bell. Okay? So they're allowed to go out with that bell. Okay? V'chol adam, everyone really is allowed to go out with his bell, even an ani from Israel. But chachamim dibru be'oveh. Chachamim spoke about the Metziut. The Metziut was usually bnei melachim go out with these bells, not every normal person. Says the Gemara, Mike Sharim, what does it mean, the Ksharim? Amar Ada Mari, Amar Nachman Bar Baruch, Amar Vashi Bar Rav Yehuda, Lekishure Puah. It used to be koshrim givolim shel tzemach, right? Hapuah, v'tolim otal tzavara l'refuah. So it was done for health reasons. They used to come and they used to tie it, right, on their tzavar. And again, this is for health reasons. So since they're using it as for health, so it's considered a tachshit, it's considered an adornment for a choleh, and therefore he's allowed to go out with it on Shabbat. Amar Abaye, Abaye says, Amrali em, my mother said, remember, it wasn't his real mother, biological mother, it was like an omenet, it was somebody that was changed. It says, Tzlata mukme, there are three ksharim, it helps, right? Chamisha masu. But he says three of them, it actually helps to stop the sickness, that it's not going to get worse. 5 ksharim, if they would have just tied it 5 knots instead of 3, masu, it would actually cure. Shiva, 7 ksharim, afilu likshafim, that it helps even for kshafim male. It's going to help. Which means even against witchcraft. Okay? So the Gemara is going to speak about now a few tanaim to do with the kishrei puah. So it says, Amar Ravacha bar Yaakov, says Ravacha bar Yaakov, vehu telochazi leshimsha v'siyara. But that's as long as this puah, it's only going to help for the puah if it never saw the shemesh or the yareach. It never saw the sun and the moon. I don't know how you do that, but okay. Velo chazimitra, right? And the kesher, velo ra kesher geshem, it never saw rain. Velo shmiya le kol barzela, it never heard the sound of barzel, of iron beating up, like the bang, bang. Right? Velo kal tarnegolet, or the call of a tarnegolet. Velo kal nigre, or of even steps. So how do you do this? I don't know. I don't know how you would have such a case. This kesher puah never saw, meaning obviously when it was there, right, you had to detach it, and now you're making these knots. So these knots could have never seen sun or the moon, could have never seen, right, whether it's going to be the rain or the call of the barzel, call of the tanegol, or call of the psiot. So I guess maybe you're just making it in your house and then it stays in your house. But then I don't understand how you're going to go with it on Shabbat. The second you went out with it on Shabbat, you just destroyed the entire healing powers. So I'm not sure. Okay. So Amar of Nachman bar Yitzchak says of Nachman bar Yitzchak, right? If you need all of these tanaim, right? All of these conditions, nafal puta bebira. He says what? The entire thing fell into the pit. He says why? How are you going to do it? Right? How are you careful with all these things? It's impossible, right? So says the Gemara, my idiya banim, right? Another question, right? What does it mean here? Banim, why do we only say boys? Afilu banot nami. Well, girls cannot go out with it. If it's a heal, something to heal a person, so why can't girls also go out with it? My idiya ktanim, and why did it say banim ktanim? Afilu gdolim nami, even gdolim also. And a my ksharim, or rather, what is ksharim? He had the amaravin Barhuna Bar Rav Chama Bar Guria. Says Avim Bar Ravuna Bar Amar Rav Chama Bar Guria. Ben sheyesh lo gaguim al aviv. When you have a little child that he's missing his father, right? Notel retzua mimin al shel yamin. He's going to take his right shoelaces, vekosher lo bismolo, and he's going to tie it, right, on his left hand. And then what happens is that it's going to remind him of this child, of the father, and therefore it's going to be like a refuah that my father gave this to me, so he's okay. Right? I don't have a picture here. No, I don't have a picture. Okay. So basically he takes the shoelace on the right, his right shoelace, and he ties it on the left hand of his son. And again, his younger child, and therefore since he misses him, and that's going to be the segula, the refuah, so therefore it's a tachshit, so he's allowed to go with it to the Rishut Rabin. Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak says Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak simanech tefillin, which means also by the tefillin it's the same thing, that you're taking your right hand and you're tying it to the left hand, right, on your left hand. So it's the same thing. Vechilufa, what is the opposite? Right, sakanta, it's a sakana, which means if you're going to take from the left shoe and put it on the right hand, it's actually going to be a sakana, because then it makes that the child yearns for his father even more, and then it could be that he could become even depressed and everything, and it become even worse. So this is something very interesting of like a segula type of a thing, but it's a refuah. Amar Avim Barhuna Amar Rav Chama Bar Guria, says Ravi Barhuna name Rav Chama Bar Guria, sechufe kasa tibre b'shabbat hashapidami. Right, when you're going to come and put a cup on the tabur b'shabbat, so you're going to come and put a cup on top of your belly button on Shabbat, right? Also here I don't have a picture. Right, so it says over here, is going to be permitted, which means many times if a person had stomach pains, what he would do is that he would put on top of his stomach, he would put a kos chama, right, a hot cup, right, that has hot water in it. And what happens is that the hot cup, even nowadays they have this, it's like, this like it's like a red thing, usually red tube that they put water. They tell you to be very careful not to put boiling hot water, if not you're going to burn your stomach, and then they put it on the stomach. And that's supposed to heal. Okay? So he says, so that's going to heal. So you're also allowed to put on your kapot yadayim raglayim, which means on the palms of your hands and your feet, you're allowed to put oil or salt on Shabbat, right? Also, so to take away shichrut is not considered refuah. Right? To take away it says over here to take away any type of a drunkenness. So I guess if you do this, it takes away the power of being drunk. He had Rav Huna mi berav, just like Rav Huna from the academy of Rav. Rav mi berav Chia and Rav from the academy of Rav Chia. Rav Chia mi berav Rabbi. Ki havu mi basre, when they used to be shikorim, when they used to be mamash shikor, maite mishcha mincha, they used to bring oil and they used to bring melach. He used to mix them together. And they used to put it, right, on the kapot of Yadehem v'raglehem. Right, they used to put it on the palms of their hands and their feet. They said, just like this shemen, it becomes salul because of the chom of the goof. So to the wine, which is mishaker, the plonim and plonit, should be salul v'chaser hashpah. It shouldn't. And it's just like the oil is taking away the heat of the body. So to here, it's to take away from the wine. Okay, vilo, right? If he doesn't have oil and wine, if he doesn't have, oil and salt to mix together, mighty shia de dana, he's going to bring a kiseh, a michseh shel chavit, a cover of a barrel. V'shari lebemaya, you're going to soak it in water. Now, Madhvi is going to say, just like this michseh is going to help. Right, it becomes very tzalul because of the water. It becomes very transparent. So too, so too, the siyayin and shaker should become tzalul and shouldn't have any effect on this person. Which means if somebody right now, one of his chuliot in his savar, one of his neck joints, comes and it moved from its place, you're allowed to hang it up in order that it should go back to its place. So this is this. Right, he's allowed to fix the neck joint on Shabbat. Okay? Then it says, again, these are all different sayings of Chamin, right, of Ravuna Bechuria, Lepufe Yenuka B'Shabbat HaShapidami, Kichat HaTinok B'Shabbat B'Chagura Rechava, which means that when you're going to come and you're going to take this child and you're going to put him in like a large belt in order to straighten all his limbs because of the Leidah, which means you just give birth to him, and now you're putting him in this Chagura, in this type of like a belt in order to straighten out his limbs, which were, they went all haywire. So he says it's also going to be permitted on Shabbat. Okay, fine. So now to the last thing, Rav Papa matni banim and Rav Zvid matni ben, which means that Rav Papa used to teach, right, the two shmuot of Avim Bar Huna to do with the refuat ktanim, to do with the refuah of small children. Okay, and Rav Zvid taught even on a ben, which means only one of them. Not on banim, on ben, only on one, right? Only the last one, not banim on two of them, but only on the last one. Okay? So the Gemara is going to explain. Rav Papa matzni banim. Rav Papa is explaining for banim. He says, V'tarvayu matnila be'avim bar huna. And both of them are talking about avim bar huna. Okay? Rav Zvid matzni ben, kamaita matzni be'avim bar huna. So only the first one was dealing with avim bar huna. That was talking about the one with a string on his hand so he doesn't, and he's talking about Rav Huna. The Rav Chana, le'apufe yenuka b'Shabbat HaShabidam, it's going to be permitted. Amar Abaye, Abaye says, Amna li em, my mother told me, again, there's a stepmother, kol minyanem b'shma di'ima, all the lechashim that is brought down in the Askarat Shema Em, to do with Ploni ben Plonit, bechol kitre b'smala, and anything that you tie on the left, right? He says over here, that means basically everything is always with the mother's name. That means whenever you're doing segulot and everything, it's always the mother's name. Whenever you're doing the time things, it's always on the left side. Very interesting. Here it says that the tefillah for refuah, we always mention the mother's name, Ploni ben Plonit. But usually on the tefillah v'met, usually we mention the father's name. Okay, but there's a Sefer Hasidim that explains it. It's actually very important. We should actually look it up. However, though, I did tell you that once Rav Yosef said that we always go by the mother's name because the Zohar HaKadosh says the mother is 100% certain. But again, even with that, even with the metim, many times, we do go by the father's name. Abaye comes and he says, my mother said, my stepmother said, all the lechashim, which is mefurash, how many times that you do it, so you do it exactly with the amount. But if it's not written exactly how many times you have to do it, you have to do it 41 times. So she's teaching him general rules. Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in a Braita. Yotzim be'even tekuma b'Shabbat. A woman is allowed to go out on an even tekuma b'Shabbat. Okay? Even tekuma, or this is a mishkal of even tekuma. So the even tekuma is the aleph. This is an even tekuma. Okay? The aleph. So a woman is allowed to go with this even tekuma on Shabbat when she's carrying it, right? Because basically it has a segula that she's not going to miscarry. In the name of Rabbi Meir, they said, even with this mishkal of even tekuma. Velo sheipila, but it's not that she already did have a apala in the past. Ela shema tapil, but it's only in order that she shouldn't have a miscarriage. Velo sheibra, not that she's going to become pregnant. Ela shema titabel v'tapil. Even if she's not pregnant now, maybe she's going to become pregnant and she's going to have apala, so therefore she's going to have a miscarriage. So therefore she's permitted to do that as well. Amar Rav Yirmiyah bar Shlomo Mishmei Abaye, it says Rav Shlomo Abaye, vehudi kama v'takal. He says, but that's only if this mishkal, right, is found right to the mishkal even, which means that you don't have to add anything onto it. So Abaye comes and he has a safek, mishkal the mishkal mai. What's the halacha to do with the mishkal of a mishkal? Which means, does it also help for that she's not going to have a miscarriage and she's able to go out with it? Or only if she's going to take keneged even a tukuma itself, but not the mishkal of this, right? Not something that they weighed in contrast to that. Meaning like this even tukuma was a stone. If I weigh another stone or a walnut or whatever it is against that stone, I could use that as well, or it has to be the original stone that I need. Says the Gemara, we don't know. Right? Teiku. We don't have an answer. So we don't know if it helps or not. Abaye says, my mother said, my stepmother said, Le'ishta bat yoma, to ripui shichfata tukufata midei yom. What is this? Shachafat. This is for fever, no? What does it say there in the English?
Fever. Fever.
How's it called?
Fever.
Fever. Okay, very good. So fever. Lishkol zuza chivara. You're going to take a zuz chadash of kesef tzaruf, so a new coin. Veleza leminchata. You're going to take it to a brecha. right, which is made out of the mea yam with salt. You're going to take the mishkal of the zuz with melach, with salt. And you're going to tie it to the bet tzavar of the chuleh. No, I don't have a picture. Okay, but you're going to tie it to the bet tzavar, to the collar of the chuleh. Benira barka, with a chut of se'ar, with a hair, which is made out of kanir. I don't know what this is here. You mean ayin, okay? Then it says, vilo, and if not, if you don't have these things, le'tuva parashat drachim, go by the way, like by the streets. And when you see a nemala gedola, right, when you see a big ant, which is carrying something, lishkele, take it from the ant, lishadi begufta de nechasha, and put it inside of a shoferet of nechoshet, inside of a pipe made out of a copper, and close it, right, with oferet, with plomo, with the lead, and you're going to sign it with gishpin, which is basically shishim chotamot, 60 different chotamot. You're going to sign it. Okay, you're going to move it around. And then you're going to carry it. And you have to say to the nemala, which means your masui is on me, and my masui is on you. So therefore, he's giving the machala to the ant, the miskina of the ant. He's giving the machala to the ant, and he's taking his burden, and he's giving him his burden. He says, the dilma ini says, 1 second. Maybe what's going to happen is somebody already found this ant, and then it's going to be a sek between the choli, right, and this person. It's not going to go to the ant, right? So how does it work? But you have to say, no. My masui and your masui is on you, right? And therefore what's going to happen is you're bringing your machala to the nimala, and you're not putting anything on yourself at all. Be low. And if you don't have these things, you're going to take a cheres katan chadash, a new earthenware jug, small one, go to the river, and say, nara, river, river. Right? Lend me this kad mayim, right, for the machala. And you're going to put it around his head 7 times. And you're going to throw it back into the river. And say, nara, you have to do. Take back the water that you gave to me. Right? Came to me in one day and left me in one day. Right? And again, these are just different things for refuah. Okay, so we're going to stop here, Bezrat Hashem.